Welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to fold this hummingbird copyrighted by Darren Abbey. I just found these directions on the internet. I'm going to make a few changes down here in the tail just because I felt like it was a little too hard for my class, so I'm just going to simplify that. If you would like to use origami paper, you could start with a square origami paper, but in class we're going to use a piece of 60-pound paper, or if you're anywhere else in the world you can just take a regular sheet of paper and take the top edge and fold it down to the side edge like this to make a triangle, and then cut the bottom portion off down here, and that will give you a perfect square that we can use to start our project. Okay, so cut this bottom piece off, and then we'll start with just a regular square. Okay, with this regular square we've already got one diagonal line, and we're going to need to put another diagonal line from corner to corner. So take the bottom tip and fold it up to the top corner. Give it a good nice crease and open it up, and we should have our X. Then flip it over, take the bottom flat edge and fold it up to the top flat edge. Unfold it and take the right edge and fold it over to the left edge. And this will prepare you for the star box base so that we can turn that into the bird base. If I open it up this way, you'll notice I've got mountain folds right along this diagonal line here. Okay, and we're going to fold this down into what I call the star box base. So if you push the magic button and take these two corners and fold them down and then squash the top of it, it should look something like that, and you should have the open edge down here. Okay, then we're going to take, there's two flaps here, we're going to take the top flap and we're going to fold it in along the center line, and you should make sure that the open end is down here on the bottom, because we're going to have to fold this up to make half of the bird base. Take the other side, the left side, and fold that over into the center. Make sure not to cross over that center line. And even better yet, give yourself just a little gap there. Then we're going to take this top triangle and we're going to fold that down right along this line here. And give that a nice hard crease. Okay, now that you've got that, we're going to unfold it. Unfold the top, unfold these two flaps, and now with the open edge down here, we're going to take the top flap of that and pull it up right along this edge, and if you kind of gently push it and rework these creases along the inside, it will open up and fold down, and we'll have the beginnings of a bird base, which we would use for an origami piece crane or origami flapping bird. So we're going to use that half there. Then you're going to take this top flap and we're going to fold it in towards this center line. So we're going to fold it in like this. And this is going to start shaping the beak for the hummingbird. Okay? And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to repeat that. Okay, just like this. Okay, so it should look something like that when you're done. Then we're going to flip the model over and we're going to work on the back part here. What we're going to do is we want to have this folded. It's a double inside reverse fold. So you see this line which is on the other side. We want to fold this paper so it falls in line with that line we've already established, like that. And crease it like so. Then you'll notice we have this little triangle. If we draw a line down the center, right here, we've got this little triangular piece hanging over. We're just going to fold that back so we don't have anything hanging over the center line. Just like that. Okay? Now we're going to take all of this and we're going to fold inside. Now this is kind of a tricky inside reverse fold. We want to kind of inside reverse fold this whole piece, but we want this part to stick back out so that it's not crossing over that center line again. So if I kind of pull mine up, I'm going to force this whole piece in like this. Then you'll see that that triangle here overlaps into the center. So I'm going to kind of reverse fold that back out like that. So it looks at the end like, I don't know, a W right inside of there. So you've got like one reverse fold going in and the other reverse fold coming back out, so it's tucked in. Okay? Now we're going to do the other side exactly the same way. We're going to line up this edge here. And now we're going to fold this little triangle back over so that we don't have it hanging over the center line. And now we're going to take this whole piece, unfold it, lift up the back piece here, and inside reverse that whole section. Like that. And if you're clever, you can kind of inside reverse it so that that piece still sticks out, so you don't have to inside and then backwards it. And you can have that W on that side as well. So your W's should be facing away from each other either way. Okay, now that we've got that done, you're going to flip the model over, and then we're going to start working on the beak. You're going to take this part, which will end up being the beak, and we're going to fold it back so that it lines up with these corners here and here. And then we need to crimp fold it so that it's pointing back out the other way. So we're just going to crimp like this and leave ourselves, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 of an inch right here, about the thickness of a popsicle stick, like so. Okay, now we're going to take this outside edge here on the beak, and we're going to fold it in towards the center line. Now, as we do this, this kind of is a difficult fold just because the paper is kind of small. You don't want it to cross over the middle line because we still have to fold this up in a few steps. And you're going to come up with this little triangle here on the bottom, right here. And you're going to have to crunch that down so you've got a little triangle happening just right there. And in the directions look something like that. There's that little triangle piece right there, as well as the little triangle from the underneath section of paper. Okay, so then repeat the same step on the other side. And this is the nose of the hummingbird, so you do want it to be nice and pointy and long looking. Okay, like that. I'm going to give it a good crease with my bone folder just so it's all creased well. And then in the directions, it looks like from this point we've got like a dotted line kind of going out this direction and a dotted line coming this direction, in which we're going to be making a mountain fold. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and I'm going to kind of crease it along that fold, or along that line, and I'm going to crease it here along that line. So it's kind of like this. And then what we want to do is we actually want to push this piece down and in like that. Okay, and so that forms the head. So just to show you that again, I drew a little diagonal line right here and drew a little diagonal line right there, and then I just kind of folded it along that edge and along that edge, and then I push this center piece in and fold the sides up like that. Alright, now we're at the point where we need to make the wings. So down here are the wings, and you're going to take the top flaps here and fold it kind of straight up and crease the inside piece here. Okay, and you're going to have this extra kind of flap that sticks out here, and you're going to want to keep that kind of just folded over a little bit, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. At this point you can't really set the model down, so you just want to fold this other wing up so it matches and looks kind of the same and kind of just follows the same line here. And then you're going to have this business going on with the tail. And this is where things got a little complicated. So I'm going to fold this down so you can see those wings coming out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this so it's kind of like a trapezoidy shape here, kind of looking horizontal. So if I unfold it, you'll kind of see a line maybe from here to here that I'm going to fold it along, and then I'm going to inside reverse fold that. Okay, so I'm going to take that open and I'm going to kind of pop this out this way, like that. Alright, and then I take the same thing and I'm just going to like bend this part down. So I'm going to take like a diagonal line from about here to here and fold it so that the tail can inside reverse fold down like that. Okay, so that's just a simplified version of the original directions. So it's just a simple one side reverse fold, one other side reverse fold. And on the directions he's got a very complicated kind of folding in of different corners to make it really have a nice curve on it. But I just wanted to make it a little simpler for the directions. Okay. Then the last step here is taking these wings and folding them in. So see, we have this little triangle that's left over, and instead of having a flat wing we want it to be pointy. So if I fold this over like that and then just fold it on the inside like so, it'll give us a pointy wing versus the thicker wing. So do that to the other edge of the model, or the other side of the model rather, and tuck it underneath that wing. And there we have our finished hummingbird. Now if you want to, for my final example, I just kind of took these wings and bent them a little bit and kind of puffed them out so it looks like they're catching air. Kind of like that. So that you've got the tail and the wings and that head. And he's got a couple other steps of bending these little pieces of paper here to make like an eye. In the original directions, but again, the paper that I'm using is so thick that that makes it really difficult to do. So if you are doing this at home and you want to give that a try, you can search for the directions online, Darren Abbey Hummingbird, and you can follow those directions for the eye. So that's how we conclude the Origami Hummingbird.